How many people do you know who went bungee jumping and were really annoyed that they did it afterwards? And yet it still seems like such an intimidating prospect. So the idea of starting your own business, it's just that, but over and over and over again. I'm so happy when I'm in the workshop just tinkering. You know, learning by trial and error as opposed to training is a really good way of learning to do things differently to everyone else.
It was really hard leaving someone at home every day who was following their dream and going to the office and sort of see you at 7. I knew I was really keen to find a dream of my own. That evening when I came home to 200 bicycles, the idea just seemed obvious to do a flower delivery company using James's bikes.
The combination of my bikes and her flowers being seen as kind of a pairing is pretty special. A lot of the name suggestions that I make are left on the cutting room floor.
You're such a dick. Jumping into a business without really knowing anything about it beforehand was terrifying. It was exciting, but I cried a lot.
We support each other, and since we became self-employed, we get to spend pretty much all of our time together.
And I just couldn't imagine it any other way now. I go to sleep thinking of colour combinations, and I actually look forward to Mondays, even though I have to get up at 3:30 to get to the flower market.
What would I say to someone thinking of starting their own business? Just get on with it. Start now. Why wait?
The best advice I probably got was from my dad. You know, follow your heart, do what you believe in. Didn't mean anything to me when he told me as a kid. I was like, yeah, whatever, Dad. But over the years, I look back and I was like, wow, I know exactly what you mean. And it doesn't feel like I'm doing a job. It feels like a lifestyle. I wouldn't say, you know, I'm a workaholic by nature, but I don't ever want to be second best. I could have definitely gone up the ranks, considering in fine dining, but I knew in my heart of hearts street food and barbecue was much more my style. Dirty hands, dirty fingernails. I'd probably have a hard time working for somebody now. Creativity, that's what spurs me on. One more beef rib, please. If you end up doing something because Mummy told you it was a good job for you, you'll end up hating it, probably not being very good at it. So you got to do what you believe in. Amy! Here we go, darling. If you believe it, back it.
I've been working in IT for 7 years, and 8 hours a day is a long time to be doing something which is really boring. I thought I can't have my life being that tedious. As soon as I ran a plane over a piece of wood, I just knew that I wanted to make guitars for the rest of my life. I don't want to make what everyone else makes, I want to make what I make. I want to make those guitars that when I was a little boy I used to sit and design. It's hard to describe why I love trees, but there's something inspiring about them. I don't know, the echoey nature of the sounds, and to be able to then make something else out of that, it's a really nice process. When I'm working, hours fly by. I'm so blessed to know what I want to do. And when you're sitting in an auditorium with thousands of people and there's this guy on stage just rocking out on your guitar and the spotlight's on him and oh yeah, it doesn't get better than that. I suppose I could have continued with my career in IT, made money and ended up with a nice car and a house and the holidays. But I decided to do something that really made me happy. Cheers, man.
Makes me happy, man. Makes me happy.
Amazing.
The only thing is, in my head, I'm like 20 years younger than that.
Fishing is one of those crazy industries that it's a bit like gambling. You always think that your next big haul's just around the corner.
It's beautiful that there are men and women out there who are still willing to go out there. I mean, it's wild. I'm honored to be able to support these guys.
I was getting really tired of working for marine conservation charities. I was getting really tired of moaning about everything. You keep saying that fish are getting overfished and fishermen are getting a hard deal. It was nice to just go, right, well, rather than moan about it, why don't we just actually go and do something?
Soul Share is a community-supported fishery. Works a bit like a veg box, but with fish. So we work directly with small-scale fishermen. We buy their catch directly from them. It comes straight off the boat and it goes straight to our members.
So the people that are catching it are getting a good deal. The fish, or not the fish themselves, they're all getting eaten. That's not that great, but you know, it's tough at times. But you're your own boss, and it has a meaning in your life.
It definitely takes courage, but I just say get on with it. Make sure it's something you love doing and really care about, but just do it.
Yeah, I'm the happiest I've ever been. The poorest I've ever been, but yeah, probably the happiest as well.
It all started when I kind of realised that no one got anything good in the post. In this digital world, so many people rely on email and having things immediately, and actually there's something very romantic about the idea of getting a present in the post, and hence that's what Not Another Bill is. It's that idea that you sign up to it and each month we'd send you a surprise present in the post and, you know, make letterboxes a more magical place. The hardest thing when I was working in my last job was balancing the two jobs. You know, I was working 22 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think it just got too much, and I thought, actually, you know, I want to follow my dream and do something by myself. And that's when I decided to pack it in and go full time. And then I moved from a very glamorous ad agency to my front room, packing all the boxes. It's a fun job trying to find these products. I've always been a hoarder, and on top of that, I had huge magpie tendencies. When it started 4 years ago, it was very different to what it is now. I mean, back then, I used to go to these antiques fairs and buy these amazing wonders. Whereas now, I'm lucky enough to work with the best of independent designers and makers in the world and create, you know, these amazing gifts. And that's, you know, a lifelong dream come true. No one else is going to kind of see your dream come true. You actually have to be the one that puts all the time and effort and rejection and long hours. You know, it's you that has to do it. But I thought, you know, if I don't do it, I think when you're older, why the hell didn't I do it? It's not a job, it's kind of a way of life. It's what I do.
We care to an obsessive level about what we do. Every day it's like, we have to make the best food ever. These people have to have the best lunch ever. From 7 a.m. until 11, everyone's just focusing on making that food taste great, making that food the freshest, the most healthy thing that you can eat at lunchtime that day. Before we started Calm Cans, one thing that both of us always noticed was terrible waste in the lunchtime market. Food waste and packaging waste and bins like stuffed with overflowing rubbish. Calm Cans kind of came from all of those things, like trying to find a better way. Why would you waste things when you can reuse them? Why would you throw something away that was still good? It's such a simple problem. This is a really easy solution. Things that can be really tough. We can easily just go bust, you know, tomorrow. That could happen. But those challenges, I want to be doing those things. I want to be experiencing those challenges, and it's exciting. When you work for yourself, you just realise that it's all about you. We don't need approval from anyone else, and you don't need to look outside yourself for inspiration or motivation. It just all comes from inside. It's such a powerful thing.
If the sun's come out and I've got a day off, magnet fishing is something I quite enjoy. If you go fishing for fish, that's one thing if you're going to eat it. For me, going fishing for metal, that's, probably a similar kind of buzz, but it's something that I can use.
Hi, Dan.
As a child, I was probably a bit of a menace, a little bit of the black sheep of the family. I went to art college for a bit, kind of cocked that up. Worked in a factory, which was horrible. Got into tattooing, which was great, but it wasn't quite right at the time. It was then that I started a welding course, and it kind of felt quite creative.
Yeah, one of those.
Anyone can just stick rusty lumps of metal together, It's all about making it the best you can make it.
This is off the bottom of a plane, something to do with the wings. That's going to become a soapbox racer. These are going to become a table. These are turned into bar stools, and this baby's going to become a bed.
I love my workshop. I kind of feel quite at home here. I think I do talk to bits of metal from time to time. To be honest, it's like being at play school every day. I don't really see it as work. It's more like play.
I love it to pieces now. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see.
You're a diamond.
Yeah.
I think I've always loved business, but I've always thought that business can do good. And I think I've always thought that a business could be a tool for some kind of change that you believed in. Back in 1986, I arrived on Paddington train station and I had to go looking for work. And I got a job in advertising at a place called Saatchi & Saatchi. But I decided to myself that actually I climbed the wrong mountain. It was a beautiful mountain, but it was the wrong mountain. And that's why I quit London and wanted to get back to Wales. And the way to do that was by actually starting my own businesses. I asked myself, what am I going to go and do now? What do I do well? What does this town do well? And actually the answer was, it made jeans. It was the biggest and best jeans factory in Britain, bar none. And in 2001, those gates closed, but those makers still had all the skills. And for me, if we go out of this town making jeans again, and we get 400 people their jobs back, and we go and prove actually you can make in Britain, and you can do it really, really well, then we'll have done a really great job. I've never been into that thing of just like, let's build a business to make a ton of money. But I've been really driven by actually, let's go make a ton of change. And I guess that's what drives me. I think it's really important for you as a creative person to find your love. But in order to find something you love, you have to commit to it, and therefore you have to quit the crappy job you don't care about and go and start. And that means actually going without for a bit, probably. But what better than spending all your time doing stuff that you love?